Tonight on America's Hope, there's an uptick in the persecution of Christians. And on college campuses in America, there is still a rise in anti-Semitism. We tackle both topics tonight on America's Hope, which starts now. Good evening. I'm Kelly Wright, and this is America's Hope. You know, on this program, we've talked about people being persecuted, people who practice Falun Dafa, or people who are Uyghur Muslims living in China. And then, of course, there's also the fact that Jewish people are being persecuted as we see a rise in anti-Semitism, even here in America. And last, but certainly not least, Christians all over the world are being persecuted. And many of you may not know it, but it's happening. It's happening here in America, on your jobs, or even in your right to religion and practice the faith that you want and speak it clearly. Sometimes you come under duress and pressure. That's a form of mild persecution, if you will. The question is, can it get worse? And how bad is it around the world? Tonight, we're going to be talking to Dede Laugesen, Save the Persecuted Christians, STPC, Executive Director and founding member. Dede has been working in this field for quite a while, and she endeavors to raise awareness about the plight of at least, get the number now, I want you to really get this, America, 360 million Christians facing brutal and extreme violence and injustice in countries around the world. Now, somebody needs to know about that and be quite upset about it and do something about it. And Dede is one of those doing just that. And of course, what's happening with this kind of persecution is that they are seeking to hold the perpetrators accountable for their crimes against humanity. Dede's organization, an informal national coalition of multi-faith NGOs and community leaders, began in February 2018. And reorganized as a formal charitable organization in December. And Dede joins us right now, December of 2018. I want to talk about this, Dede. This is such an important topic. And I'm a little bit outraged, but with some righteous indignation because, look, the Christian faith does no harm. It is designed to lift people up from every walk of life. Why is that such a problem for the world that chooses to persecute people of a Christian faith?
Thanks, Kelly. Thanks for having me here today. It is so incredibly important. And just to note very quickly, that number, 360 million heavily persecuted Christians, increased 67% in only a short few years. When we started this work in 2018, there were Open Doors World Watch annual list said that there were 215 million heavily persecuted Christians. Now that number is 360 million. So we know persecution is getting so much worse. And I really do think that it is the state of the world today, and most especially the state of faith in America, that faith in America has become lackadaisical and comfortable. And so we are not advocating for our brothers and sisters in Christ around the world as we have in the past.
Why?
Leaving them so vulnerable. Why? The faith of Americans has been challenged in the public sphere across the board with regards to political correctness and the left really calling Christians out, and even coming from the Biden administration, threats of labeling us as potential domestic extremists, and even terrorists, because we dissent in our views against the counterculture in America that is pushing very liberal, aggressive, progressive agenda on people of faith, and that puts their careers and their reputations at risk. And so people pull back and are not strong defenders of the faith as they should be. And that leaves our brothers and sisters vulnerable.
Vulnerable indeed, which is why I talked about that quote unquote mild kind of persecution that people have been witnessing here in America on their jobs, in their homes, in their marketplace, in society, on social media. What seems to be the core reason for attacking people of faith who are practicing a faith that says, do no harm, but do unto others as you would have them to do unto you?
Well, we have the rise of tyrannical authoritarian regimes that are really putting Christians under pressure. In India, it's the Hindu nationalists. In China, as we know, it's the Communist Party. And in places like Nigeria, where the most number of Christians are killed yearly, and just last year, Intersociety out of Nigeria reports over 5,000 Christians were murdered for their faith. Literally in Nigeria, every day is October 7th, as it was for Israel. The people are attacked, the Christians are brutally murdered, taken hostage. All of these things are driving agendas, pro-Islam agendas, pro-tyranny agendas. And the United States is being pushed around, really, and the Biden administration is failing in its foreign policy, especially with regards to religious freedom. Right now, they're looking to compel, through the U.S. State Department, non-discrimination language that will very much impact and curtail the ability of faith organizations to continue receiving contracts from the State Department, and even award recipients in foreign countries being forced to agree to Blinken's non-discrimination practices, which really promote the LGBTQ and equity agenda. We in the United States, we push for equality under the rule of law, but equity gives the administration the excuse to choose their favorites in this area, and so people of faith are their morals and convictions are being subverted to this leftist agenda of diversity, equity, and inclusion.
You put it like that, and it sounds to me a lot like what some of my friends who practice Falun Dafa, or they're Christians or Uyghurs operating or trying to live in communist China. It sounds to me like, of course, there that Christians are pushed underground, and if you're operating an underground church, you become very suspect from the communist regime that wants to get you out of the way, and that means imprisonment or worse. Are we seeing that unfolding in America, that people will try to force Christians and other faiths underground to cow to these particular groups that are very progressive and very leaning towards their own proclivities for gender, for sexual, whatever it is, and then getting rid of people of faith who are trying to hold on to what this country was founded on, the principles of Judeo-Christian principles?
It is a very dangerous time for people of faith in America, as we see the left moving to essentially implement through various means the Chinese Communist Party's social credit system and pressures in America. I have always said, if we do not defend our brothers and sisters in Christ and people of other faiths like the Falun Dafa or the Tibetan Buddhists, if we do not stand for their religious freedoms, we will see that persecution come to America.
Hi, everybody. I hope you're enjoying this episode so far of America's Hope. If you'd like to see it in its entirety, just click on the link below. Thanks for watching.